welcome to the stage, Mike Zakarian.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. We got a little afternoon NBA bit for you. Excited to have you guys hang out with us this afternoon. We had a fun one last night. Appreciate those that were following along as we were in the NBA draft. I got to experience what can only be described as the basement of the Barclays Center. So that was like cool to walk around the basement. Had a lot of fun down there. But it was a really, really good time. But enough of that. Oh, we got a Bandy sighting right away too. That's fun. Enough of that. What we got going on today, we've got a couple of fun guests. Noa Dalzell is going to step on the show here in a minute or so. We're going to talk some Celtics stuff. We've got Harrison Faigen joining us. Then we've got some 89 Cavs to top it off. And then just a heads up, nothing tomorrow. Absolutely nothing tomorrow. Tomorrow, we're going to rest our voices. Then we'll be back probably Sunday and Monday. So get excited for all that stuff. And just a reminder, Summer League right around the corner, July 10th to the 14th. We're going to be out there. So if you're coming, let us know. Come hang out. Come hang out. But enough of that. Glad to see you are wearing a full shirt today. I don't even know what this comment is. Was I wearing a half shirt recently? Now I'm very nervous. Maddie. But I am happy you are here. Unless that was a shot at a blazer. I thought I wore a really nice blazer last night, so I'm not going to take any blazer slander this morning, unless it's the Portland Trail Blazers. All right, there we go. That was a beautiful segue. Let's bring on our guest, Noa. Noa, thank you so much for joining us. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Yeah, thanks for having me.
I was enjoying some of your tweets today because I feel like Celtics fans were maybe short-circuiting a little bit after they picked Hugo last night with the 28th pick. And I think maybe because they were only checking box scores and that was it. But what was your reaction when you saw the Celtics first pick last night?
Yeah, first of all, I'll say I think it's been a tough week for Celtics fans. This is not the best time, over the last few years. Most of these trades are offloading money, getting rid of key players from the championship team. So it would have been hard, I think, for the fans to be like super positive yesterday regardless. But there were a couple of names that were kind of circulating as potential, as it relates to potential bigs that they might draft. Brian Kalkbrenner, Maxime Reynaud, like these were guys that everybody was talking about. And I think it was a question of, okay, which of those guys are they going to pick? And then it was somebody completely different. But the reality is they also have the 32nd pick tonight. So probably, they'll almost for sure grab one of those guys in that slot because there's only one team picking ahead of them. So I think it was a little bit of a mix of things. And you look up the guy, you don't know him, and you're like, he doesn't even play in Real Madrid.
Yeah.
Why? So it was a confluence of factors, I think.
Yeah, I know. I thought when they were getting closer to their pick last night, I was waiting for them to try to trade up to maybe get Kalkbrenner because I didn't know if he was going to still be there. Like when I started looking at it the week ago, I was like, I don't know if he'll even be there at 28. And then to see like both of the bigs that you had mentioned still be available, and like you said, they almost like guaranteed to get one of them in the second round. I wonder if they saw that when they got to pick 28 and they're like, we can actually just wait and get this one tomorrow night. But yeah, I was excited to see like Brad spoke very highly of him in the press conference and mentioned being able to do like the little things and just I guess to say having experience sitting is probably not exactly what he was saying, but the fact that he was playing on a team with NBA caliber guys over at Real Madrid and understands roles, I think will probably be helpful as he transitions into an NBA spot here with the Celtics, just because they, even though have lost some guys, are still a relatively deep team.
Yeah, for sure. And I think if this was last year, the having experience sitting would probably be the best thing I could possibly hear, because over the last 3-4 years, like even beyond that, like rookies don't play on the Celtics. Right. And so being a guy who's comfortable being a professional and not playing and still contributing when your number is called is probably the number one skill required of a rookie. I was thinking heading into this draft that they might not need to approach it this time around with that mindset, because I would imagine they want the rookie to be part of the rotation. And they want multiple young players and probably lean on their depth and their bench a little bit more than previous years. And maybe they will. So it's a little bit of a different situation, I would imagine. But we also just have no idea what this roster is going to look like. Like we're like in the middle of something trying to evaluate it. But there have been a few moves, and I think there are moves to come too.
Yeah, I think that's such a good point, and it's almost you almost can't get attached to anything that's happening right now. Like with Anthony Simons coming over, that does sound like a lot of fun. I'm excited about the potential of Anthony Simons being here, but I also don't know if Anthony Simons is actually going to be here. I of those like two trades of Drew going to Portland and KP heading to Atlanta, was there one of that? Was there a return or lack thereof of either of those deals that surprised you more than the other, or was that kind of the direction you thought it was going to look like?
Yeah, it just, it's interesting. So I expected both of those players to be traded this offseason for just money reasons and just thinking about the timeline with Tatum coming back, that ultimately Drew's going to be old. Porzingis, he hasn't been super available, and he'll be a little bit older too. I think the main thing you accomplished is that you didn't give up any assets to get off either of those contracts. And there was speculation and some reporting earlier this summer that Drew Holiday's contract, I think it's like 3 years, $100 million left, you were going to have to attach a pick to it. And not only did they not have to attach a pick, but they got 2 second-round picks in return, in addition to Anthony Simons, who I think is a positive asset, even if you want to flip him. Like, he's on an expiring deal, and he's a promising player that can score and has done good things in this league. So I was very positively surprised by the return on that Drew Holiday contract. I'm not going to say I was happy, because I love Drew Holiday, and I would love to have seen him remain a Celtic for longer than 2 years. But considering I'd pretty much come to terms with the fact that he was going to get traded, I think that was a very positive return. With Porzingis, it was kind of just an indictment on like how little trade value he has right now, that they really weren't able to recoup any value for him. Georges Niang, he's a good shooter. He's a, veteran player, but he's, Porzingis, he's not Porzingis, right? So the main part of that deal was that was the deal that got them below the second apron. And so each of those deals, I think, accomplished something different, but ultimately Brad Stevens talked about it a lot last night. They really want to get below the second apron to get flexibility, and they realize how punitive the restrictions are. Now they're below the second apron. Now they can aggregate salaries. They can do lots of different things. So I think that was the priority of that deal. So I was a little bit, tiny bit bummed that they couldn't get back better value, because at the end of the day, an expiring contract for a guy who during the regular season was a borderline all-star. And obviously his playoff struggles were undeniable. But you have to be glad that they're now in a better financial spot, and that they haven't touched any of the guys that I view as part of the future core.
Yeah, and I was surprised how quickly it happened too. I thought this was going to be more of a drawn out process, and for that to basically like be 24 hours, and they're like, well, now the Celtics are under. I was surprised by that. I was saying earlier this week, I feel like if the Porzingis deal happened first, the spirits might be a little bit higher, but I think because we were all like a little bit like surprised positively that for the return of Drew, we're like, oh, maybe Brad is just a magician. So no matter what, we're going to get good stuff back. And then I do think like the fact that the leading headline of the Porzingis return was like, well, Georges Niang's from Massachusetts. And so usually if go ahead.
And I have to say, no, he's so disliked by Celtics fans, because there had been like I don't know if are you a Celtics fan? Are you from the area?
I am a Celtics fan. Yeah, I try to talk about everything, but I deep down am a Celtics fan.
I could tell, and I can already tell. So, but there's, do you know the moment where he was on the 76ers and he grabbed Jaylen Brown's like leg? I think that's all anybody can think about right now when we talk about Niang. I was looking at his like career stats. Yeah, the leg grab. Like, he's a 39.9% career 3-point shooter. Like, he's a really solid 3-point shooter, and he's on a cheap contract. It's an expiring deal. He's from the area. Like, there's things to be okay with, but everybody just remembers that play. And like, I think he's just a little bit of an annoying guy, but those annoying guys are better when they're on your side. So maybe they'll learn to love him.
I absolutely think so. Once he grabs somebody else's, sorry, I didn't mean to speak over you. I was but once he grabs somebody else's knee, I think everybody's going to be on board. I would like remember Dustin Pedroia, like growing up a Red Sox fan, and I loved him, but I had never met anyone that wasn't a Red Sox fan that liked Dustin Pedroia. Like, for those very reasons, they just found him very annoying. So the second he's on your team, you're very excited about it. So, and a fellow podcaster, Georges Niang. So that's good to get another player podcast in Boston. I just like to speak on Atlanta for a second, and I'm not saying I'm going to buy an Atlanta jersey, but man, they have seemed to have an incredible start to the offseason. And I know there's still like rumblings that they're going to do more, but I feel happy for KP that is where he landed and that he's going to be able to hopefully, again, because it's the Eastern Conference, like everybody's competitive for a little while. But it does feel like he landed in a fun spot for him to continue to grow as long as he's healthy. And I also saw a fun clip going around and of like Jaylen Brown and Porzingis being in Atlanta. Did you see this going around today too with them? And so I was like, all right, well, maybe Kristaps will be like happy being in Atlanta.
The one thing I'll say is I do think that team is interesting. And I think Kristaps has a good attitude. Just where he's going to be, he's going to embrace it. Like when he was on the Wizards, I think he embraced it, and he's kind of grown into that because he's had so many highs and lows in his career. So I think Hawks fans will love him. I'm going on Locked On Hawks right after this to discuss him, and I think that he is going to be, it's kind of a low risk move too because they didn't give anything up. He's on an expiring deal, but if everything works out and playing alongside Trae Young, like he could be a borderline all-star for them on a pretty much like at a snap of a finger. Like they didn't really have to do much to get him. So I think that was a really shrewd move for them, honestly.
I mean, and then for how they like parlayed that into the draft last night to pick up that Pelicans unprotected.
Craziest trade I've ever seen.
Dude, I was so embarrassed too because I was there and I really liked Derek Queen. So I was like, wow, good for New Orleans. I mean, because I liked the Fears pick and then they got Queen and I was like, wow, that's like a solid 2 picks. And then like 10 minutes later, I'm like catching up on my phone and I'm like, oh my God, they gave up an unprotected first round pick. Like, what are we doing?
That's going to be like, is that not going to be a lottery pick? I don't know. I mean, we'll see how it shapes up. And if one of these guys is, if he ends up being a stud and a superstar, then nobody will care. But I don't know.
If you told me that, if New Orleans has perfect health next year, like everybody's good to go. I mean, there's still like at the best a 7 seed. I feel like in the West, maybe 6. So that's if everything goes right. And knowing New Orleans, stuff just hasn't gone right for them in a while. Maybe they're due. I don't know if that's what they were. They were just like, we're due for good health. It'll be fine. But that was kind of wild. I wanted to, I was really excited to ask you about this stuff because I think you've done some like pretty unique reporting on specifically both like Jaylen Brown, who is still a Celtic. So we don't have to talk about it that way, but like Drew Holiday too, like covering a lot of their off the court stuff. And I was wondering like how it is seeing somebody that you've covered in that manner leave the team, because I do think it's like, it must be kind of a surreal or like a weird feeling. Not that you would like an attachment or anything like that, but I think when you like cover them off the court, it's one thing if you're like, oh, well, he's shooting 39% from on open corner threes or whatever, versus like how you've seen them impact a community. So what has happened that like experience been for you seeing Drew get traded?
It's a great question. Honestly, like that's a huge part of how I view these trades. Because I think if you're a front office member, if you're a scout, like you could just look at the basketball, but I cover the team, right? And I cover the city and I grew up here and I view the full picture. And with Drew Holiday and with Jaylen Brown, they are 2 people that have really, really impacted the Boston community. And I'll speak even more to Jaylen because Jaylen's obviously been here for a long time and I think is extra engaged specifically in this city. Drew has impacted 6 cities by now and he'll do Portland next and wherever he goes. I mean, that's just their, him and his wife's MO, Lauren, wherever they go, they just entrench themselves in the community. But like I was at an event last Thursday for Juneteenth. Jaylen was giving away sneakers at a community, a Boys and Girls Club in Dorchester. And he was like, spent like 5 hours with the kids. This is like the 4th time this summer that he's done that. And he's, doing this incubator. The 2 of them were working on it together. I don't know what the future of that collaboration is going to look like now that Drew is out of town, but it's like, you see the impact that he has on the kids and you see the impact that he has of just spending time in the city and like going to different neighborhoods. And he visited like 5 different schools the week before that, surprising classrooms. And it's like being a franchise player, being a star on a basketball team to me is more than just about winning on the court and contributing to championships and getting all-star appearances, all of which he's done. But it's like when those kids grow up, like who was the guy that was like their icon? And it is Jaylen Brown for a lot of these people. And like that is no knock on other guys on the roster. Everybody can do their things their own way. And I know for Tatum, a lot of his off-court work is in St. Louis, where he's from, and like that's what really anchors him. And it's something that I want to like explore further in my reporting. But with all the Jaylen Brown trade rumors, I'm like, I know how many people would just be on a personal level crushed if you were to leave.
Yeah.
And like the new franchise player that you bring in, probably not going to have that impact, because it is kind of like I don't want to say 1 in a million, but it's unusual to have that type of connection. Drew Holiday in 2 years, like the fact that he even got set up here with all of his philanthropy and got so invested. And I was talking to people last week, like I was at this event at the MFA where there was a chess academy that was really kind of basically this long-time postal office worker was able to retire because of an investment from Holiday's foundation. And they were like, we are so nervous about the Drew Holiday trade rumors. Like, these are real people that like are lifelong Celtics fans, but they understand that it's way more than just the basketball. So I definitely view things through that lens. And I think that's why like some trades are a little bit easier to stomach than others. And the media thing that I wrote, I stayed up all night writing the Drew Holiday story after he was traded, because that's the part of him that maybe not everybody is aware of and understands.
Yeah, and I think Drew is so spectacular at it because his impact, I mean, he's only been here for like 2 years, and for him to just immerse himself in the community like that is incredible. And like you mentioned, every single organization and community that he's been a part of has felt that like Holiday impact too. Like that's just who he is, and who his family is, are people. Jaylen Brown, I always bring it back to like Mookie Betts in the Red Sox. And I think when Mookie was traded, because he did a lot of similar stuff. Like he was very active, like with bowling in the community, and had a lot of events going on. He was like the guy that everybody like was connected to as like fans. We were connected to. And I think when he left, I think there was a lot of, I'll speak just for myself. Like even as a Red Sox fan, I was kind of like, man, this sucks. Like if you get rid of this guy, like this is the guy. And that's kind of what Jaylen has become in a lot of ways, where he's just, I think him leaving the team would impact, like people will like to, poke fun of JB on the internet and on NBA Twitter, because that's just what they do, these turnovers and stuff like that. But I do think like the real Celtics fans would feel that loss quite a bit, because you're right, like there's a connection there. And I thought you did a good job like covering a lot of the stuff that he was doing. And it was so funny, I felt like I was seeing more and more stories come out about that as this season ended, and I thought of it as twofold. I was like, are people trying to get these stories out because they think he's gone, so we got to get this reporting done first? Or is this the push to be like, see, he's not going to go, this is how immersed he is in the community? This is like, I know, I got a lot of the Matrix.
I got a lot of flack, honestly, on both sides. Like, 'cause a lot of people were like, what are you, his like PR person? Like, why are you writing all these stories? And the other people were like, is this his don't trade me tour? Like he's trying to say bye to the city, or he doesn't want to get traded, so he's showing Brad Stevens how important he is. First of all, Brad Stevens is going to trade Jaylen Brown if he wants to trade Jaylen Brown, regardless of the community events that he's doing. Like that's not gonna deter him. He's a pretty strong-willed executive that has made tough decisions before. But honestly, the reason for me is that like this is my second year on the beat, and like I've been kind of forming relationships with people in different camps and stuff. And I just have like good contacts on his side now. So I kind of know where he's going to be. And if there were things last year that I didn't know about that I would have covered last summer if I had been aware. So like if you're a lot of what I've been trying to emphasize in my recovery, just like this is actually not new. It just like hasn't really been covered much. So because it's not being covered doesn't mean it didn't happen. And I was and I tried to include it in one of my stories that like for years he's been visiting these schools and doing like educational workshops and things, and it's like there just weren't stories about it. So I don't actually think that it's completely new. He is in Boston all summer right now because he's recovering from knee surgery and had an earlier offseason than usual. So that part's a little new. Like last year he was in the Middle East most of the summer and was traveling the world, so he wasn't doing as many of these things.
No, I've friends in the Boston public school systems, and they have been talking like
like they know that. It's just people online don't know, so they're like, where are these stories coming from?
Yeah, no, that's incredible. What has been like for you personally, like the biggest difference between year one and year two on the beat?
Year one, I wasn't doing it full time. I had a 9 to 5.
So
from a lifestyle standpoint, no. So from a lifestyle standpoint, my biggest difference is that I sleep and like eat breakfast and like have a functional life. But I think otherwise, like just the beginning, I think you have a surface level understanding of how things work, and then you just get better at it. So I had a really fun rookie season. Like they won the championship. Like I got a full-time job out of it. Like it was awesome. But I think my second year, I realized more like, and also just the fact that it was the same exact team. like you learn what kind of question works for one player and like doesn't work for another player, and like when is it worth to ask Joe Mazzulla the follow-up that you've been wanting to ask about like something that you don't understand that he keeps running, versus like this isn't the game to do that. So beyond just getting better at the job, it's like each player is its own thing, and each person you interact with is, you know, their own thing, and they have ways that resonate with them and don't. And so I think in year 2 I was able to like actually develop relationships with players, and like I didn't really have relationships in year 1, and like figure out like how to effectively cover and communicate and like kind of break through with different guys depending on what I was working on. So that was my biggest difference, and obviously very different outcome. Like last year, top of the mountaintop. This year, with the way things ended, like that game in New York where Tatum ruptured his Achilles was like, felt like I was, you know, living in a part of a Celtics documentary, and I had just seen the mountaintop, and then I had seen the dark era, and it was kind of wild to see them within 11 months of one another, really.
Right. I live in New York, and I was around New Yorkers who were celebrating like pretty aggressively, and I don't think they understood that was, they weren't celebrating the Tatum injury, obviously, but they were celebrating like moving on essentially. And I was like, no, you guys don't understand. I'm like, he's not playing for like another year now. Like, this is a real injury. This isn't like congrats, you move on or whatever. It's brutal. I wonder what that'll feel like moving into year 3 now too, because they, like for your first 2 seasons, the Celtics clearly championship aspirations, right? Like they were title favorites, I think, both of these seasons heading into it. And I imagine, not that they're not obviously going to say that they are not going for a title, but I think the bar will probably come down a little bit here in your 3rd year covering them, where I still think they're going to be very competitive. Like I saw some like graphics going around of some of the guys on the roster right now, and people being like, what's Brad doing? I'm like, they still have like very talented people on this roster. In the Eastern Conference, most of those rosters don't have, they're all talented, but maybe not like the highest level. And I feel like the Celtics are still going to compete, but I wonder what that difference will be like heading into year 3 for you versus 1 and 2, where like the expectations just in the locker room might be a little bit different.
For sure. The biggest thing I've been wondering about is how is Joe Mazzulla going to be? Because he has kind of tough exterior, and it's all about championship, you know, winning. Like that's the only thing that's the language, that's the vernacular. And like, to me, you know, he doesn't really like playing bench players, and you know, really leaned on the veterans, and it was all about the guys in the locker room. And like, he did have a really special group. And I don't know, you know, maybe they bring everybody back that's on the current roster, but like, is Al Horford going to be back? Is, you know, I don't know about all these things. So that's the thing I'm the most curious about, is how is Joe going to navigate that? And then also from a coverage standpoint, like I really like writing features about players' upbringings and their community work. And like, those are well received when the team is on a 9-game win streak. But like, I don't know how the fans are going to receive those kinds of stories when maybe they've dropped 4 or 5, and I unroll like a, well, here's what this rookie's mother had to say about his up, you know. So I've been thinking a little bit about it from my coverage standpoint of like, what does that mean, you know, for how you can write about a team, and how can you still have like a humane, empathetic way to think about sports while also acknowledging the fact that like the team is struggling and like kind of navigating that.
That's a really good point. Like, I do wonder how people respond to Luke Cornett's comedy if they're 28 and 32 through 60 games. Like, does that hit differently? You know,
I've already seen, like, we've been getting all these funny Joe Mazzulla stories in the offseason. We've been having some of the bench players on our show on the Garden Report, and like, they're not hitting the same. Like, people are like, fire Joe. Like 6 months ago, those stories would have been like really resonating with people.
Yeah, although I did think I saw one make its way to an ESPN show today. Yeah, the standoff, right?
Yeah, that was a funny one. Torrey Craig was telling us that Joe and Baylor Shireman were in a 1-hour-long standoff in the hall trying to figure out who was going to pass through first. That was pretty ridiculous.
Just nutso behavior. I want to be conscious of your time, so I won't keep you too long, but there was a good question from Mike, and this is a good transition too, because I wanted to hit this. He said, how's the difference between covering like the W nationally versus covering a specific team like the Celtics beat? I know you've been doing some WNBA coverage, and I know you were in Barclays not too long ago, right? Were you here for a Liberty game?
Liberty Dream game, yeah.
Oh,
so
fun.
It's interesting. I think it's just a lot harder to cover a whole league. Like with the Celtics, I feel like I am the expert on the team. I know everything about every player. I know exactly what to ask in a press conference because I know what every single thing has been asked over the last year. I don't think I've missed a press conference in the last year. So it just, you feel so on top of it. And I think with the WNBA, like when I go to a game and I haven't covered that team in person for 3 weeks, it's like it's a little bit of a challenge of like, is it even worth me asking the question? I kind of like deferring to the local beat writers because I know what it feels like when the national NBA writers come in and ask like no offense, but like the most elementary questions that like we've already gone through like 8 times, and like they just have, I guess they have to do it for their story, but like for, sometimes it's just like, okay, this person is like not clued in with how things have been going. And I know that I would come off that way with the W because it's just impossible to be on top of every single team. So I think in my nature, more of a beat writer than like a national person. And like, I've had opportunities to cover the NBA more on a national level. And like, I way prefer to just be a beat writer. And I think my dream is one day that there will be a WNBA team in Boston, and then my life will be consisting of covering both of those teams like all year. So I do love the WNBA, but it's just hard. It's hard to like form relationships when you're in and out. And like, that's a huge thing for me, is like really understanding like how players tick. And last year I was more focused on the Connecticut Sun because they were really good. And I really liked covering that team. But right now I'm really kind of all over the place. So it's a little bit more challenging.
Yeah, I do wonder too. I mean, you mentioned a team like coming to Boston. I wonder if that Connecticut Sun sale, if that team moves. I know that there
Hope
was.
so.
I know. Me too. Me too. Although I've been struggling. Like, do I have to give up my Liberty fandom if a Sun team moves to Boston?
I think you could see how it goes, because that is fun. It's fun. It's a good time to be a Liberty fan, and it might be a tough time to be a Celtics fan for a little bit here. So I would lean into the Liberty fandom.
It's been so good. Although I will tell you, which is still a good thing. It's a good thing for the league. But man, I want to say it was 2 or 3 years ago, we got like floor playoff seats for like $100, and you can like maybe get in the building for $100. And we have we saw when the Valkyrie came to town.
Oh, we could, like the prices have increased a lot.
Yeah, a lot. But it is the best. I mean, Madison Square Garden is still one of like the best environments for basketball. Obviously, the Boston or the TD Garden, but Liberty games in Brooklyn I know you've been there, and the vibe in there is just so good.
It's a better atmosphere than most NBA games. Like 100%. I was on the road this past year. I would say the Liberty would be a top 10, top 5, maybe even atmosphere for basketball. And going to Nets games in Barclays Center is night and day. It's kind of remarkable that it's the same arena, because sometimes I'm like, it doesn't even feel like the air is the same in here. I went to definitely a huge development for women's basketball. Just like
it's awesome. I went to game 3 or 4 with the Celtics Nets when KD was still there, and then went to like a regular season game for the Liberty, and the energy was so much better for like the regular season Liberty game than for the Nets playoff games. It's just night and day. You're right. Noah, you have, I feel like, a billion things to plug because you are always on a podcast. It's just incredible. So I do appreciate you taking time out to come on this show. But I know you're you've got reporting on the CelticsBlog.com, right? We're over on CLNS Media. You have your own podcast as well, which I'm blanking on the name of right now.
You got Boston Podcast.
You got Boston Podcast, which you can find on YouTube and wherever you get podcasts. Anything else? I'm sure I'm missing like 2 or 3 more.
That's podcasts. The main of it. I'm live on Bleacher Report Mondays through Wednesdays at 5:00, talking Celtics too. But most of my coverage is on Celtics Blog, SB Nation for women's basketball, and then CLNS Media. We react if something happens related to Celtics. We immediately react to it. Like the Drew Holiday trade, we were live at like 12:30. So we always, if there's any news, you can find it on CLNS Media. In the coming weeks, we'll be there.
Awesome. Well, go check that out. And then you can also go to the Locked On Atlanta show if you want to talk about Porzingis. If you want to listen to talk about Porzingis on Atlanta. All right. Well, thanks for hanging. We'll get you on out of here and hope to see you again soon. Thanks, Noah.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah. All right. We are going to keep the train moving. If you're just joining us and you haven't liked the video or subscribed to the channel, I just want you to know I'm taking it personally. So please go ahead and do that. And now we are going to do an aggressive shift from the good vibes of Boston to just Los Angeles Lakers. I almost feel like we need to get Dustin up here. We have Harrison Faigen joining. Harrison, I feel like we almost owe you like an SNL type jacket or something. I feel like this is your 4th or 5th time on.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say no to free merch. I am a blogger after all, so I am legally obligated to take any free clothing that people offer me, and then incorporate it into my wardrobe, which is why I have a giant Manscaped shirt that my wife hates when I wear outside.
Yeah, it is kind of funny for me. I mean, it makes sense that they have merch. Everybody needs merch, but I don't know why Manscaped and a shirt. I just didn't think that would be the merch. I think it would be something else.
They sent me the shirt because I was supposed to interview, this is not a joke, Alex Caruso about his Manscaped ad. And then we ended up not being able to coordinate the time. And so I just got like this Manscaped care package so that I could like ask him about the products, I guess.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Incredible.
And then I didn't end up talking to Alex about it, but you know,
so just get the merch after all.
Yeah. No, unfortunately, if they would have paid him a little more, he could have just stayed with the Lakers. But you know, again, alas.
Well, if only we could turn back time. If only Mark Walter got involved earlier, right? Do you think Caruso might have? That is honestly my favorite Lakers reaction right now. Is they got the new owner and everybody's like, "Oh, we're gonna spend Dodger money now," and I'm like, "Well, guys, we've all listened to all the same podcasts about the second apron. You can't. I mean, yes, as Zach Lowe pointed out, maybe you can afford synergy." But I don't know if that means you can all of a sudden spend on a lot of basketball players.
Well, so I will say, first of all, you vastly underestimate, I think, how much the Lakers have not been investing in all the areas that are not tapped by the second apron a little bit. The synergy thing, I think, I didn't actually hear the clip where he said that. I think he was talking about previously, because I know they were not subscribed to synergy like years ago. Like they did, and were one of the last teams, if not the last team to do so. They definitely have had it for the last several years. So like that was the thing where people were like bringing it up, and I'm like, no, they like, I know for a fact they definitely have synergy now. I don't know how long they've had it, but they definitely do have it.
You know what's awesome about that clip too is that the Lakers can't really come out and refute it, because what they'll do is they'll be like, well, we did get it in 2019. It's like,
yeah, exactly.
Well,
it's like
everybody else had
it's
it.
like a Streisand effect thing too. It's like Lakers fire back at rumors they do not pay for extremely basic NBA team stat service. Not basic, but basic for an NBA team.
Right,
you know, like every NBA team has synergy. It's expensive, you know, for us, for you or me, it would be a costly expense. For the Lakers, it should not be a costly expense.
It shouldn't be fine. That's hilarious. I wasn't planning on doing this stuff, and then we got like some Lakers like alpha or info today. Is there anything behind Austin Reeves turning down that extension? So what was it, like 4 for $90? And he was like, "No, I'm good. We'll test some free agency." Do you think that's just to try to get a little bit more from the Lakers, or do you think that's like a real?
I think it's more to get more from anyone.
Yeah.
You know, I think I think he wants to stay with the Lakers, but because of another way that the CBA is just like horrible and kind of stupid, is that the Lakers, if they could, would pay Austin Reeves and offer him the amount that they can offer him next summer as an unrestricted free agent right now. Probably, I'm fairly certain they would offer that to him, or very close to it. It would at least be a more interesting discussion. But when your max offer is $100 million less than he could make next summer, that's a lot of money for a guy who has had his wages sort of artificially capped by a lot of sort of restrictions around being an undrafted free agent and bird rights and the Arenas rule and how all that works. So it's like, if he can essentially like double his next future earnings by just waiting until next summer to sign a contract, of course he's going to do that. Like any of us would do that. And you're lying if you're saying you wouldn't.
Right. Especially if just by doing that, he like gets $25 million just by like waiting another, or like going out in free agency a little bit more.
Yeah.
I wanted to check too, like the vibes in general in LA. I think what was so fascinating, right? You get the Luka trade, and it's just like the theft of the century. Although the Pelicans last night were like, Nico, hold my beer. We can get what Joe Dumars can get a little wild out there.
Yeah,
too.
Joe Dumars and Troy Weaver said, we're going to remind you who the real bad GM go around here is. You know,
just I said this a few minutes ago to Noah, but I was so embarrassed because I was at the draft and I was running around doing a bunch of stuff, and I saw that the Pelicans got both Fears and Queen, and I was like, those are great job by the Pelicans, that's great. And then like 20 minutes later, I was like, oh my god, it was an unprotected pick. I'm like, what are you guys doing? It was crazy. But I was gonna say, so like you get Luka, vibes are good, and then you just like, I think, win way more than everybody was expecting. And then
certainly more than I was expecting.
Yeah, right. And then I wouldn't even say flamed out in the play. Minnesota was also really good. I think it was a tough matchup and lose. And so then I felt like the vibes got too high, and then maybe now we've overcorrected and it was too low. Like, what's the state of the Laker vibe right now?
No, I think you're exactly right. It's almost one of those things where I remember the night of the Luka trade, we were on the stream wondering, like, does this mean LeBron, like, this is LeBron's best friend on the team, like his sort of clutch, like, counterpart. Like, does this mean LeBron is asking out? And is this just a full gap year where, you know, Luka's hurt right now? We don't know when he's coming back. Like, is this just a thing where they're just rebuilding in the middle of the season? They've just decided we're blowing this up. It's done. And then once it was clear that LeBron was not leaving, it was kind of like, okay, you know, this is going to be a weird roster because their only player over 7 feet tall who can like dunk a basketball is Jackson Hayes, and he's not good at basketball. And so it's, you know, they ended up being, I think, way better than anyone could have expected, because I think genuinely JJ is a pretty good coach. I think has shown that he is, you know, from the Lakers sort of like clutch net rating and like all that stuff. Like, I think he's shown that he's a guy that can get you meaningful, somewhat meaningful margins in the ways that good coaches can. But I also think that, you know, that led to them overachieving what like a normal team would have done in the regular season with that roster. And they basically employed playoff lineups and playoff strategy for the regular season. And then when they got to the playoffs, it's like, well, we don't have any levers left to pull. And so they just sort of got obliterated. And I'll say, like, to defend Lakers fans being down, it doesn't feel great to watch your team just get completely dismantled by a team that then is like roadkill in the conference finals, you know, because you're like, wait, we're like double far away from the Thunder, you know, like we're, and so I will understand like why Lakers fans may be feeling a little down right now, especially given that the team is like sort of limited in what they can actually do this summer and the types of players they can actually target. But it's one of these weird things where they're in a situation where they have it pretty good. You know, they have Luka, they have LeBron, like they have Austin Reeves is a good player, you know, but it's just, how can they make the roster make more sense when they have like probably the 3 best ball handlers on the same team in the NBA, but then almost nothing else at like an elite NBA level?
Yeah, it is. And it's, I feel like, and I know Dorian Finney-Smith, there was some news about him today too. I feel like DFS is like the Jimmy Butler, like tired meme, like where he's hanging off the side when he's going to do all of the stuff. Like,
especially by the playoffs. They're like, hey, Dorian, you're 34 years old. Do you want to play center for an entire second half against Naz Reid and Rudy Gobert?
Yeah, we're like, you're gonna come off the bench and play 40 minutes. Is that cool?
Yeah.
So what do you think are there legit potential moves to kind of fill in this roster a little bit? Like I know Mark Williams is now a Phoenix Sun, so that door's officially closed
for now.
For now. For now.
You know, I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Let me be the 700th person to say, let's see what the physical turns up. You know, it's I am not ruling out with the amount of chaos that's been around the Suns the last several years. I'm not ruling out them rescinding this trade. Matt Ishbia just being like, I didn't like his vibe, failed the physical.
I know it is kind of a funny thing where like
he had a weak handshake. I'm diagnosing him with.
If they rescind it, like Mark's like physical is fucked from here on out. Like if they do rescind, you can't have two.
If they rescind it, if you're Mark Williams' agent, I'm not going to advocate for murder, but I'm just saying, like, I think you got to do something, you know?
Yeah. But also if they don't rescind it and he gets hurt, it's almost just like more of an indictment on Phoenix, which can you believe they could take more shit on? But after we saw another team say, no, you can't come here because you're not healthy enough. And Phoenix was like, but you can come here, baby. And I
they're like, we had the best training staff in the league 15 years ago.
Yeah. It's just insane. The Phoenix is just hilarious. But yeah, what do you like? What potential moves are, because I feel like it's been kind of quiet in like the Laker roster land outside of, you know, of course, anytime Walker Kessler's name comes up, they're like, well, it could be a Laker. But is there any other like buzz around them right now?
Yeah, so the thing about the Walker Kessler stuff that is part of the reason I have been talked out of buying it by my co-host Anthony Irwin, and this is the point that he always makes and that he's heard from Lakers people, is the reason it's difficult to get a deal done with Utah is they have the Lakers 2027 pick. So by trading Walker Kessler to the Lakers, they would theoretically be making their own asset worse in exchange for another asset while also giving up an asset. And so it's like, how do you make the math of that trade work when the Lakers have such limited picks picks to send out. Like you may say, like Walker Kessler's not worth 2 first-round picks, and I would sort of agree with you in a vacuum. But I also understand from the Jazz's perspective where it's like, no, but for you specifically, it's 2 because we're basically losing 1 if we give Luka the perfect center to pair with him. And in 2027, that pick is going to be trash,
right?
Provided that he stays. And so I think that that's sort of and he makes so little that it's hard to make the salary matching work, for a player that the Jazz would actually want. And it's like, how do you actually like sort of uncomplicate that? And so, I think that they're going to be, I think, a good like they're going to get whatever sort of the flotsam, centers that are available on the market that are actually looking to move and sort of are willing to take like the taxpayer mid-level to see if they can sort of use that to cash out for one last contract next summer. Because the pitch Lakers can make is you're going to be playing with Luka, LeBron, and Austin Reeves. And you're going to have a starting job. And if you are anywhere remotely competent, you're going to play over 30 minutes a night, like almost guaranteed, because we have like no other options.
Is the Swiss man in that category? Is that like a Capella potential landing spot?
I do think that it's a pretty good Capella potential landing spot. Like I know that from Hawks people, like he's getting towards the wash zone a little bit. Yeah. But you would think if there's a team that is going to be able to get the most out of him and get more out of him than the Hawks did, it's probably the Lakers. With Luka and LeBron just making his job literally like he just has to get his hands up.
Right, just put him up. And I honestly can't tell, like, is Capella washed or was, because I'm one of these people where we're just like, can we please let Onyeka Okongwu play a little bit more? And like, so I can't tell how much, like, what the ratio of washed versus like more Onyeka was.
And from people who watch more Hawks than I have, like I also heard that the physicality rules like have, obviously disrupted Trey, but they've also made it specifically harder for him as a driver. And so that is by definition just going to take away from some of the lob opportunities for Capella. If Trey's not getting to the rim anymore, then, is there more opportunity for him to sort of showcase that he still has a little bit of juice left in that tank on a team that has like big playmakers that can find him over the top and like draw to on the ball and again, Luka made Jackson Hayes look like a guy who is not good at basketball, look like a guy that was going to make like 8 to 10 million this summer until he got completely destroyed by his own coach in the playoffs. And
if the Lakers didn't make the playoffs, you're absolutely right, like he'd be getting 8 million a year. But like once you get into the playoffs,
the Lakers were going to pay him. I'm like, you guys are scamming yourselves right now. It's like I just watched this man before Luka got here and I'm watching him now. This guy is not good. If Luka can do that for Jackson Hayes, the target list is much more expansive this summer. You do not have to pay Jackson Hayes $10 million to stay.
I love the idea of the Lakers being the top and the bottom of a pyramid scheme. That is basically what's happening by feeding
Mark
Jackson
Walter's
Hayes.
just money laundering himself. He's
I'm a little disappointed we've only gotten like one Luka has lost 20 pounds update. Like I thought that was going to be a weekly thing where we would see like TMZ Sports with him sipping a green juice.
I think you got to wait till August. That feels like that's the prime time for that content. Like we're going to get not only, I think it's Eurobasket, right? He's playing in this year with Slovenia.
Yes.
And so we'll get some clips from that. And it's like, oh man, skinny Luka out here being a menace in international play. And then like in August, we're going to get some like beach body photos, where it looks like the NBA has to send a random drug tester to him because he's looking svelte, running the beaches. And, I just don't think that we talk enough about how impressive it is that Luka plays as many minutes as he does at the usage rate and offensive load that he does and still finds a way to gain weight during the season. That's commitment to your craft.
I mean, like Jokic doesn't even do that. I can't think of another NBA player in the current game that this happens to. I guess Harden occasionally like fluctuates. But
that feels like a when he wants to. Like Harden will just like he knows how to put on 20 pounds in like a week. He's like a method actor, like he could Christian Bale it. Like he will do that.
James Daniel Day-Lewis. That is funny. Now I'm just trying to rack my brain of anyone else that I feel like has looked like they've gained weight or like have gotten less athletic throughout the NBA season. I always think he gets too much flack for that anyways.
I will say for a white guy, the Lakers jersey is a tough look. Like the yellow ones, everyone is going to look fat. with the sleeves off. Like even
It's true.
Austin is in incredible shape. And even Austin, like you can see a little bit of the doughiness on the arms and that kind of stuff. It's just the yellow is a tough look. And so it's, yeah.
Purple jerseys only now? Is that what we're gonna have to do? Like purple and black? Like we gotta just eliminate
think
the
like
white ones?
something slimming. Like, can we get stripes? Can we get purple and gold stripes down? You know,
throw some stripes on there. Yeah,
like
I do.
Destroy the iconic brand so that Luka looks skinnier. You know,
right? I think people lean. I think like it's you hear people say it, and then so you're just like, okay, this is gonna be my go-to thing, and it's like, oh, Luke is out of shape. I mean, I think you could say Luke is. Good.
Yeah, he could stand to get in better shape, and like some of the soft tissue injuries, the calf stuff, whatever. It's like, sure, you can sell me on the idea that if he was carrying a little less weight, maybe there's a little bit less strain on the calves, whatever. But again, he's so good that it's like, you know, you almost don't want to mess with it too much,
right?
And you can understand why he would be resistant to that. And it's also, you know, he is. So his bulk is part of his advantage. You know, it's like my friend Kylie Chung likes to say the talent is in the fat about James Harden and Luka as well. Like it's, you know, you're getting guys bouncing off of you because you are carrying so much weight. You know, like if Nikola Jokic was as skinny as Wemby, he wouldn't be as good of a player because he wouldn't be able to like throw his weight around and knock guys off their spots and that kind of stuff. And so there's I'm not saying Luka should just like be fat his whole career or something, but like it is like there is a line somewhere where he is getting some benefit from the size that he is and being able to move like that.
Right. And I know it like, okay, yes. Could he lose a little bit of weight? Yeah, maybe. But what is he going to start running by people? Is that what you're saying is going to start happening? He's going to start that's not his game. It's just not going to happen.
I need like we're going to get like Luka chase down blocks next season. You know, he's like,
it's just like, he's in practice with LeBron, and LeBron's like recreating
vegan health food. Luka in LA like is going to be, you know, like he's like looking like a young LeBron, you know, athletically.
Are like the majority of LA fans or I guess I should go it the other way. Was there anyone anti this Luka trade out there when it happened, or was just universally everyone is like, holy shit, I can't believe this?
It was about as universal as you're going to find, especially among Lakers fans. The thing that I always say about Lakers fans is that there are so many of us that you're going to basically be able to find some contingent of people who believe even the most insane things about their own team. You know, it's like every opinion you could possibly have about the Lakers, you're going to find it in the Lakers sphere because there's so many Lakers fans, and there's going to be somebody loudly trumpeting that it's like, well, they should actually be trying to trade Luka this summer because he doesn't have Mamba mentality, you know, and like he's not getting into shape. And so like there's just a lot more people talking about the team than you have about like the Hornets, for example, you know. And so like I think that contributes to the amount of ranges of opinions that there are around the Lakers. But this was about as universally acclaimed as I think I've seen. Even the AD trade, there were people that were like, Lakers gave up too much, they got fleeced. And then like in this one, like I don't even know what you could argue. You know, I guess the only argument against it was it probably took you out of contention this year just because you were going to have such a mishmashed roster that you weren't going to be able to put together like 4 credible playoff rounds of rotations.
Right. And you were already lacking a big, and then you take like the one that you had out. And now, again, all of a sudden Jackson Hayes is playing minutes until he wasn't. Any other like big LA offseason headlines that are or like roster type additions that people are looking about? I'm just still so surprised how quiet it's been outside of, again, a $10 billion sale. I guess that is a pretty big newsworthy thing. But I feel like considering we're in the midst of the draft, I know you had a slight like cash related move today in the draft.
Yeah, they moved up, I think 10 spots. Yeah.
Yeah. But I feel like it's been relatively
shout out to
quiet.
The Bulls.
Yeah, the fucking Bulls, man.
They're like, yeah, we'll trade back 10 spots. How much? $2 million? All right.
Sure. Why not? Why not?
We're only in like the 6th biggest market in the NBA. That's we'll take the $2 million.
There was a lot of Bulls fans in the Barclays Center last night that did not have a positive reaction to their first round pick.
Yeah, well, I feel like Bulls fans are just like mad about everything. Yeah, and sort of justifiably so. You know, there's like not a lot their team could do to make them happy at this point. You know, like their big free agent move is going to be paying Josh Giddey, you know, like $120 million. You know, it's rough.
Especially right after the team that won the championship was just kind of like, hey, can we get one of your guys and we'll give you the guy that we don't think should be on this roster anymore?
They're like, yeah, can we just do a straight up 1-for-1 swap and then win the title?
Yeah. And then you can pay that guy $120
You should pay that guy, though. Good luck to him.
I know, poor Chicago.
Yeah.
But I think I think it's been kind of quiet on the LA side of stuff.
Yeah, it definitely has been. And I think some of that is a function of just that they are fairly restricted in what they can actually do. They have more draft picks than you would think, but a lot of them are tied up by the Stepien rule. And so they can't move them. And so they're functionally useless if you're trying to build a team right now. And so there's like that aspect of it working against them. There's the, they're going to get the extension with Luka done. There's like LeBron is probably not going to take like a significant pay cut. So you're basically your only weapon in free agency is probably going to be like the taxpayer mid-level, like the mini mid-level, which is like 5.9 million or whatever it is. And so you're not going to get a huge difference maker with that money probably. And their only trade pieces are, like the first round pick in 2031, I believe, Dalton Connect, which is like, whatever, like, I don't know how much he's seen as, he's definitely not seen as a huge asset, not the same as a first round pick.
Right.
And then Austin Reeves and Rui Hachimura. And both of those guys were valuable players for you. And so you can't just give them away and like trade them for draft picks. You need to get back guys that are going to win now. But are other teams going to value those guys as much as they are valuable to your current construction? And it just sort of leads to a lot of like, there's just not a ton that the Lakers can do, especially if they're not willing to sort of take a talent loss on like an Austin Reeves trade, but maybe get like a fit upgrade.
Yeah, I think that's like one of the hamstrings too of like just LeBron still playing basketball at 40, or where it's like you don't really have like the ability, not even for gap years, but like similarly to like where the Celtics will probably be, where you'll just like comfortable this year in a 5 seed, and like if you make the second round, cool. But you can't really do that when you're like, I don't know, man, we got 1 or 2 years left of this.
Say that you're doing it. You can't indicate with your moves that you're doing it like the Celtics sort of have, where they're just sort of like, they're not going to come out and say, yeah, we don't care about this year. But they, when you're trading away guys for basically salary relief, like, you're sending a message in some respect.
I think as we're talking about this, I'm pretty jealous that you're having the offseason that you're having. We're having the one that we're having where it's just straight chaos every day. Where Utah's on the phone with Brad Stevens right now about Jaylen Brown. And it's like, wait, what?
I saw Utah came out and rebutted that on the record. That was kind of wild. Austin Ainge was coming out and saying like, we aren't doing that.
Yeah, I didn't think it made sense. I was just like, what package are they going to put together that would have made sense for Jay? I mean, unless Brad
that
was
also felt like a just Danny Ainge likes to have his name involved in the news cycle, and like people talking about, Trader Danny, it's a wild card. You never know what he's gonna do.
I love the idea that Danny leaked it and Austin's just like, Dad, come on. That's not what we're doing.
Dad, stop. Woj retired. Who are you even leaking this to?
He's just texting Woj. Woj just tweeted out from the St. Bonnie's account.
Danny's texting Woj. He's just like, yeah, we're going to trade for Jaylen Brown. Woj is like, yeah, I don't care. Like, I'm working in college now.
Yeah, I'm jealous. I'm jealous of like the peaceful off season you guys are having. You just like not a lot of movement. We're just getting rid of everybody. Better.
It's not peaceful at all. Like we are going to be in like a take war every single day among Lakers fans until like next season about like why they should have traded Austin sooner, why they should have gotten more in an Austin Reeves trade if they make one. Like we're going to find stuff to yell at each other about. Don't you worry about that.
I hope you're able to keep Austin there because I really do. I think it would be a pretty unique offense to have those 3 guys on the floor at the same time.
Especially with an off season of JJ having sort of time to, hey, how can we best take advantage of having 3 ball handlers this good? Like, I do think there is a little bit of room for upside there. It's just, I think they're going to have to beef out the defensive infrastructure because I think that you have a pretty hard ceiling we've seen now with those 3 guys all on the floor. You need 2 pretty other good defenders, and Dorian Finney-Smith is like an okay defender, but Rui doesn't rise to that level. Like, you need more guys that can clean stuff up.
I mean, Rudy can never be the offensive leader in a game. And that's what happened in the playoffs, right? Where he had like 20 and 17, whatever that game was, where he just absolutely smoked you guys. It's like he can't.
Oh, yeah. No, I was saying Rui. But yes.
No.
Also, Yeah, you can't let Rudy Gobert turn into Wilt Chamberlain against you. Yeah, that's kind of tough. Like if you're
Yeah,
setting up
that's
that
what I mean.
situation,
Like
you have a hard ceiling as a playoff team.
Right. Like when you're asked, like the Rui DFS thing looks good when you're playing, when the opposing team has Jackson Hayes as their center. You can get away with that stuff. But like when you play any team with a real center, it does kind of limit and maybe you can keep it quiet for a quarter, but that just wears down on them if they're playing like real playoff minutes. Like you get into the fourth quarter, it's hard to get those rebounds.
Yeah, and again, it's like by game 5, like I don't think that it's like an accident that it was by game 5 that like Minnesota's coaches were like, okay, Rudy, just like go shove, Dorian Finney-Smith through the stanchion, like we're gonna, you want the ball? We're gonna get you the ball this series, okay? All right, big guy. We are gonna force Ant to feed you this time. I promise. He's actually gonna pass. Right. And it was a good and the Lakers were so bad on the interior that passing to Rudy Gobert was a good decision.
It's incredible.
It's just,
And it's fascinating to think too. Like, I wonder what those outcomes look like if you are paired up with either of Golden State or Houston in the first round. I guess Houston even tried to do it to Golden State with Steven Adams for a little bit. But like, if you're not facing those dominant bigs, are you able to manufacture a series win? But like, not sustainable for more than one round for sure.
Yeah, and Golden State was a tough matchup for the Lakers last year because they just really spread them out and it made them scramble, even with that sort of scrambling small defense in a way that they were not going to be able to withstand, I don't think, over the course of a playoff series. I think Golden State would have been a bad matchup for them. The Rockets, I think they probably could have beat, but I don't know where their ceiling is beyond that.
No, it'll be. I'm excited to see like Luka, LeBron, and Austin with like a full off season. I think it'll be.
Yeah, I think your answer is LeBron's the traditional center now. He's just gotta embrace that.
And he's just my age though.
Yeah. Well, they say there's no better time to learn something than at 40.
I don't think that's true. Like language, right? That's not true at all. I think that's the opposite.
No, they say you can teach an old dog new tricks.
No, I think you got that wrong.
I don't know. That's what the Lakers are telling me.
Harrison, I appreciate you carving out some time and doing this today, man. You've always been very generous with your time and jumping on the show. Where can I send some people to check out some of your sweet stuff?
So just at HM Faigen on Twitter, at Fake News, FAIGNEWS on Blue Sky if you're doing Blue Sky. I am at SBNation.com. I was writing about the bizarre Blazers draft with apparently Chinese. One Nugget scout was calling the Blazers pick Chinese Jokic, which I thought was hilarious. Like that's like an all-time draft night comp. So writing about the fun important stuff like that at SBNation.com.
There was probably a 14-year-old and two of his friends sitting near us last night for the draft. And when they announced that pick, and again, 14 the oldest, maybe even like, let's say 12, he had a Blazers jersey on. He picked it up like over his head and he screamed fuck as loud as he could. And it was just, I was sitting with my friend and I was like, man, I wish we recorded that. Like there was nothing funnier than seeing that happen last night. It was excellent.
Yeah, rough week for the Blazers. They had there was a state senator in Oregon reading out, calling them crazy for the Anthony Simons trade, reading a Blazers Edge article into the Congressional Record. And then they did one of like the wildest draft picks that we've seen in a while. So yeah, rough week for Portland.
Just incredible stuff. But dude, thank you so much for hanging out. Go follow Harrison. Go check out all of his stuff on SB Nation, and we'll see you again soon. We'll check in after.
I expect the jacket for visit number 6.
Yeah, you definitely
I need it ready. Okay.
You definitely we do need to get it. We'll get you a jacket, and maybe we'll etch Manscaped into it too, just so you have some more Manscaped.
I appreciate that. Yeah, that way I can wear it out.
Yeah, that's right. All right, thanks so much for joining, man. Appreciate you.
All right, see you, man.
All right, that was Harrison Faigen. We've got 89 Cavs coming up here in just a few minutes. Appreciate everybody hanging out. I'm trying to think if there was any other good draft tidbits, but maybe we save them for the 89 Cavs because our guy Jay Catch was there as well last night. And also the three of us are shooting a little fun thing tomorrow. Weisberg sent us a fun thing. It looks like the Pelicans were getting loud on Twitter. Let me, we can share screen, go see what this is. I haven't looked at it yet. Okay, Shams was talking about trading up for Queen, and then the Pelicans social media guy says this rational take won't get you a ringer pod. Interesting. Did Bill Simmons respond? Because I thought I saw a Bill Simmons tweet too. Did he respond saying he was bookmarking it? I thought I saw something. Yeah, it looks like he's bookmarking it. So that's good. That's good. I like that. A lot of Twitter drama today. Love to see it. Love to see the Twitter drama. But yeah, make sure you go check out Noa Dalzell stuff, who joined us for the first half hour, and then Harrison, who joined us for the second half hour. We get the 89 Cavs here coming up next. We've got Old Man Hoops tonight, too. The return of Summer League ball. We've got some 40-plus Summer League action tonight, which is exciting. Haven't played in 3 weeks. We only have 5 guys tonight, so looking forward to throwing up on the court. That'll be a good time. How's the chat doing? I see we have Tesla in there. He was pretty excited that we got some Luka slander. You enjoyed that? All right, that's good. Talking about Luka being fat. All right, good stuff, everybody. Good stuff. But yeah, we're gonna get the 89 Cavs going. I think we got everybody. I see Steve down there. Do we have Justin? I see Justin down there. But Justin's mysterious. Sometimes the camera's on, sometimes the camera's off. Let's get Steve up here first. Steve, what's up, man?
How's it going, dog? How's it going?
Good. How are we feeling last night? Post draft.
I think yesterday's draft showcased one thing: bad karma is real. It's a real thing. Ace Bailey got hit with some unfortunate news, and now that man got to play in Utah. We're gonna pray for the brother. But hopefully he gets some kind of deal out of there, because it's not looking nice.
That's incredible. All right, I think we might have Justin. Justin said he's doing this from mobile. Let's see if we got Justin here. Justin, are you there?
Can you hear me?
Oh, I can't hear you. I just took us all off screen though. Hold on. Let me adjust that. My bad. Yeah. All right, Justin, are you still at the draft?
Yeah, I'm in the tunnels of Barclays Center right now. I'm looking for some Lithuanian shooters.
Incredible. Let's do some draft stuff. Justin, you were in the building last night too. What was your experience like last night?
Better than 2 years ago. They actually had some things going. They were actually doing interviews with the players, so it was a solid experience. But as a Pistons fan, the cream of the crop of the East, I really wasn't concerned with any of the players. So, I don't know who these guys were. I was just judging the fashion and the hairstyle.
How did it feel to watch Joe Dumars just like mess up somebody else's organization instead of yours?
I mean, he did it before the draft. He did it during. You got to respect consistency. 2-phone Joe D in the building.
The Pelicans trade really was wild. I mean, I just can't. Like, in what world is that not a lottery pick next year? You know what I'm saying? Like, even if everybody's healthy, like you got Zion. You looked at the roster. You saw Zion. You saw Jordan Poole. You saw DeJounte with one Achilles, like Herb Jones, and you were like, man, we don't need our pick next year.
I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I think Joe Dumars is doing the drugs from the 80s. I don't think he's doing the shit that we have laced with all this fake shit. He's doing the for real drugs, and then he's doing his job. So I gotta respect it, man. If you gotta be the Don Draper GMs, do you think, Joe? Do you think?
I saw recently this documentary on Netflix about the Toronto mayor or ex-mayor Rob Ford, the one who was on video doing crack.
Whoa.
This is
for real?
Yeah, this is from 2013, 2014, maybe.
I gotta check this out.
Up in Toronto, and anyway, that's what that reminded me of. Like that maybe.
Yeah, for sure.
Maybe Joe Dumars is on his Rob Ford. I was trying to think if there's anything else like kind of crazy from the draft last night that was like that really stood out. I just thought, go ahead, Steve.
The boy who went to Portland, Jokic comparison. Did you guys see this?
Yeah.
Is it a bit, or is it like, can he pass like that?
I mean, he can pass a little bit. But I do think I think they just saw a tall guy that doesn't look like an athlete that can pass well, and they were like, enter nationality, and then say Jokic. Like no one had him projected to go in the first round. I mean, Justin could say he had to come from the stands. Like he wasn't in the green room. It was like, oh shit, whose music is that? And then he just like, like he's coming from the stands.
It was a very Kate Martin moment for him. Kate Martin.
It was for real. That's how Kelsey was there last night too, and that was her response. She's like, "Oh, they're copying the WNBA now." Should we talk about the music at all last night? Because there was some great back and forth between Steve and Justin on the group chat last night. Every time a player got picked, I didn't realize that was going through the broadcast too.
I just want to say this. I don't know where Justin's at. I think Ludacris is a great rapper. Seems like a fun guy. I think it's fine to play Ludacris in 2025. I have no issues. Black and Yellow is actually the national anthem in Pittsburgh. So it's fine, bro. It's fine if we're not playing music that's up to date. I don't know who made Justin Anthony Fantano. I don't know where he got his current music taste, but I think it's fine to play old rappers. And I wouldn't be mad if I was in Barclays and I heard those songs. But
hold on. Let's correct this. They didn't play Black and Yellow. They played a song called Black and Silver, which is something I've never heard in my life. Because of San Antonio. They couldn't find one San Antonio artist to throw in there. And then the music got wilder because you could tell every time they were confident in the song, they played the volume lower. And like when Philly picked, they were blasting Meek Mill. Yes. The second time the Spurs picked, the quietest music you've ever heard in your life, dog. Like they truly, I'm not lying. You can talk to Kelsey, you can talk to Mike. Every time they weren't confident in the song, the volume was on like 2.
The craziest thing that happened though, because we weren't sure for a little bit, like who's picking these songs. Is it like somebody who's working for the draft? Are the players submitting stuff? And then the Georgetown dude, Sorber, got drafted by the Thunder. And then all of a sudden, lightning and the thunder start playing by Imagine Dragons. And I was like, man, can you imagine? Your life just changed. You have entering the association, and then Imagine fucking Dragons comes on, and you got to go up on stage. You're shaking Adam Silver, said lightning and the thunder, lightning, then thunder. Like that's what's happening.
That's what I'm saying, Steve. Dog, they just straight up went to Spotify and put the team name in and took the first song.
Yo, talk about. Imagine Dragons is totally different than Ludacris. You feel what I'm saying? Imagine Dragons is bad. Imagine Dragons is very, very bad. I would be upset if I got drafted and that's the song I got to associate with one of the most beautiful moments of my life. Brother, Ludacris rocks. Can we all agree there's nothing wrong with
I'm not hating on Ludacris. I was just surprised to hear Ludacris as the first song. Like that, especially that song. And then the music got well. When the Wolves picked, they played the Big Bad Wolf by Duck Sauce.
Oh. Oh, that was great.
Duck
right
Sauce
for the Timberwolves pick, right?
For the Barbra Streisand song. What is the Big Bad Wolf song? It's just a Deuce and the Big Bad Wolf over a beat. Like that's what they played.
Was that the one with the wolf howling?
Yes, it comes on with the howl, just like
No.
That's how the song started after he got drafted.
It's crazy. Wait, there was another one. Oh, the other thing that I thought was nuts, and I don't know if they were showing a lot of this on the broadcast. So, do you those 360 cameras? You see them in Times Square a lot. You stand there, the camera like whips around or whatever. So they were doing that right off the stage. Like, Steve, could you see that on the TV broadcast? Did they show that?
No. Oh yeah, I'm lying. I seen it. Yes.
They showed it a couple times. So where I was standing after, before the draft started, I'd go on the floor. It was so sick, by the way. It was like so sick, just like walking around. I was like next to Shams as he was doing his report. It was just, and also everybody's like really friendly and really nice. Like you got a badge on, and other people with badges, they just like assume hey, we're all doing the same thing. What's up, man? What's up? I'm like, and meanwhile, my eyes are like as big as they can be. But when the draft starts, we got to go up to like a second section. So we're like standing basically on the corner. But anyways, it was like directly staring at that 360 camera. So you see the player, shake hands with Adam Silver. And then they do this on like that camera set up basically on stage, like stage right. And which is kind of crazy that you're doing the 360 camera in front of everybody in the draft. Anyways, so everybody you get drafted, like, moving their body around a little bit. I swear to God, Ace Bailey gets drafted by the Jazz. He's so hurt. He's so mad. Shakes his hand. He stands there expressionless, and he does not move for the entire 360 camera. It was so fucking funny because it's just like you saw Concanipple like the pick before, and he's just kind of like mean mugging, doing just typical white guy stuff when the camera comes on. But then Ace Bailey just stoic, stationary. Oh, it was so funny. He's so hurt, man. He's sick.
That's bad karma for him. Does anybody know why his people told him to go about the workouts in that manner?
I think he just was like very dead set on going. He wanted to go to a bad team that he would play for, but just not Utah and Charlotte, I guess. I don't really know. Like that list that he put out yesterday was crazy. That his agent put out was crazy. The Washington Wizards, the Brooklyn Nets, New Orleans Pelicans. Those are the three teams he wanted to go to.
He's smoking crack. Yeah, he's smoking. He went to Toronto for a second. He's wild.
I mean, no one's ever made that list before, right?
Yeah, that's wild. That's wild. That's like super wild.
I mean, at best, he's picking nightlife cities.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
But he's 18. So, like, there's litter places in that than at 18, right?
Yeah. Like, even D'Angelo Russell saw that list. He was like, come on, man. You gotta put at least LA down there or something. What are we doing?
Oh man.
I also love, man, that was a real, like, if you forgot about Danny Ainge, Danny Ainge reminded you he's zero fucks.
Man, he clocked out, bro. He's like, I already broke the NBA. I'm picking whatever at this point, man. I don't give a fuck no more.
Yeah. He's like, oh, you don't, Ace, I understand you don't want to play for Utah? And Ace is like, yeah. And he's like, okay, cool. We're going to take Ace Bailey. Like, do you think...
You could tell it's a Danny Ainge pick because I don't know if you saw on Twitter. Immediately after the pick, you started to see a graphic comparing Jason Tatum at his draft date to Ace Bailey because they're the same, similar height and age.
Oh.
So we're already doing that. But I'm sure we've heard Ace Bailey say more words than we heard Jason Tatum say in his first 3 years. So.
That's true. That is true. Justin, any other things from last night?
Did you see that? I'll just jump in. Did you see that clip of, was it Colin Murphy Boyle? When he got drafted at 9, he looked shook and just about fuck, and his girlfriend looked shook too. I didn't see that at the draft, but there's video on Twitter for it.
I seen I watched that part live, like not in person, but on television. And yo, bro, you could tell for real that they both were like, damn, we got to go to Canada. Like, that was the energy, like, yo, we really got to go to Canada. And I'm like, yo, Toronto rocks. Like, why does everybody so against going to Canada? It's a beautiful city, bro.
I love Toronto. I thought that their PR team did a really good job afterwards. I thought they said all the right things. Tesla was saying it's totally overblown. He was just relieved he got drafted. I mean, man, that is like a real glass half full spin on it. That is a real glass half full. That he didn't think he was going to get drafted. But yeah, that was pretty funny. The fuck was pretty funny. That was a good one. I'm trying to think if there's anything else.
Hey, are we gonna talk about the Brook?
Are we
gonna talk about the Nets draft or not?
The Nets are still making picks right now. I think 5 first-round picks is great. You know, the best part was that everybody was like, "Oh, there's no way they draft all 5. They got to trade at least one of them. Like, they're gonna consolidate. They'll move up." Joe Tsai was like, "Let's make some picks," and they're all like pretty much ball handlers too, right? Like a lot of ball handlers. I heard Zach Lowe say like they didn't have that many guys on their roster anyway, so maybe it was fine that they took all 5. But I like Brooklyn's got to be sick too because they we're primed to just go grab like either Giannis or just go like spend some money on a free agent. They've got all of this like space, and I don't even know what their team is next year.
We're gonna pray for Brooklyn, but I have a question for y'all, just because I might be misinformed. So the Spurs pick Dylan Harper, correct?
Mm-hmm.
They got Fox, Castle, right? CP3.
CP3 gone.
He's gone. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So they just got a backup point guard. That's basically it.
Yeah, I think they didn't give up too much for Fox. And so they're just like, I think they really like Harper. I think they think Harper's going to be awesome. And so they're like, whatever, listen, like if this ends up meaning we move Fox or whatever, we move Fox. But I think I don't know. That was kind of my read on it. What about you, Justin?
This is the same team that played Sohan at point guard. Just because I think I think they're like we figure it out. We gonna ease them into it. It's like they actually will be good. They're a playoff team if everybody's healthy. So it's not like he has to, I guess, start at point guard, or you can just have him as your combo and ease him in. So that's my guess. And then like you said, maybe a year or two, they're like, all right, let's start move off of them.
Yeah, I think that's right. I think they just were really excited about him. And they're probably like, you're not going to trade Fox right now. Although I think Fox is like due for an extension soon. And I don't think because like they were the ones that were rumored, or not even rumored, but if a team was going to put together a good package for Jaylen Brown, the Spurs were one of them. And they were just like so clearly not going to do that. And they were like, we really like Harper. That is like a crazy core though, like Wemby, Castle, and now Harper moving forward, and former point guard Jeremy Sohan. I forgot about that. How about Shams only like getting 6 or 7 tweets out last night? ESPN? Do you think that was part of his contract? Like he's only allowed to tweet out like certain big things.
I think they don't think he's ready for the big kitchen. Yeah, I think it might be too hot. He ain't sous chef level yet. They're like, yo, bro, relax. You can't be what it once was. So we're gonna like ease you into it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I like that. The other thing that Justin and I were talking about last night while we were there, one of the weirder and you get a little bit of this at Summer League, but the difference between Summer League and the draft is everybody is dressed up, but the like people watching is wild at the draft because there's just like a bunch of 6, like 11 dudes in suits. And then you're like, is this person getting drafted? Is this person related to somebody getting drafted? There's like a bunch of beautiful women there. It's just, it's probably the prettiest Barclays has ever been. Outside, I guess like concerts is probably, but it was just beautiful people. And you like assume, you're like, oh, this must be a partner of somebody getting drafted. And it's like, no, some are agents, some are in the media. What, Steve, go, what?
He just said, fuck the New York Liberty fan base. That's what you just said. The prettiest girls are there, not for the WNBA team, but Steve? For the NBA draft. Hold on, that's crazy. 1, 2, bro. The amount of artists that do multiple tour dates here with female fan bases, it can't be the NBA draft, bro. It can't be the NBA. Didn't Rosalia do like Barclays like a couple months ago? It can't be the NBA draft, bro. Respectfully, Charlie XCX did Barclays 2 nights straight, bro. It can't be NBA draft, bro. Respectfully.
All right, I will take the L on the concert side of the stuff. I have been to a ton of Liberty games. I said what I said. I don't know, Justin. Am I wrong?
Oh man, I'm disconnected. It's crazy.
Oh man!
No, that was hilarious. I was like, ooh.
I didn't even mean that. I didn't even mean that disrespectfully or anything. I just mean there was a ton of attractive people there last night.
No,
oh my God.
No, Steve got you real quick. I know no one on this podcast means disrespect. It's just jokes.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
But you were
just a
talking
good.
about to segue. You were talking about just seeing people. I remember our experiencing Devin Harris, and we were like, "Nah, that's not him. That can't be. That's just that's just some dude. That's just somebody's uncle."
Yeah, we felt old there for a second. Devin Harris just like casually walked by, and he he looks like Devin Harris, who's older now. It's just like you remember Devin Harris being like the young hooper, whether on like the Nets or the Mavericks, and he, just like a little bit of a bald spot on the back of his head, little pudge.
And no shade, he looked good. It's just I haven't thought about Devin Harris in like 15 years. So you're just like, oh, the passage of time.
Yeah.
If Devin Harris is definitely top 5 1-season wonders. Top 5.
Oh man, that was the
five.
Brooklyn season, right, where he was awesome.
Yeah, he was New Jersey at the time, but yeah,
New
he
Jersey,
was awesome.
New Jersey.
He was awesome that 1 year. Then it was like, you know what? We might be able to get Darren though, and then it was all downhill, dog.
Darren, yeah, he's boxing now, right? Isn't he out there boxing people?
I thought he sells tires.
Darren?
D Will, he don't sell tires?
Oh, maybe. I'm pretty sure.
I didn't know about boxing.
Let's see. Darren Williams box. Oh yeah. What's his boxing record? Here we go.
This is crazy.
Wasn't he doing the same thing Frank Gore was?
Yeah, Darren Williams has a boxing record of 1-0. He's only done. Yeah, he defeated Frank Gore.
They probably just had beef, and it was like, "Yo, we could get bread out of this, so let's play."
I was gonna say, just start what's the where you can like pay a celebrity to send you a message? What's that?
A cameo? For a squabble.
Just go do cameo instead of beating people up or getting beat up. Just send a couple messages.
A cameo for squabbling up is needed. Is needed. If I could pay the celebrity I want to see fight another celebrity, do you know how much bread they would get? We should definitely do that. Yo, Mike Z thought of it first. High key.
Honestly, this seems like something you could pitch to Ice Cube in the Big Three.
It's DeMarcus Cousins versus that guy that he made sniff his hands after he grabbed his dick.
Wait, what?
You didn't see that?
That's a real sentence? That's crazy.
I think he got suspended for the rest of the season, I think. He like some fan was yelling at him, and it's funny because in the replay it looks like he's flipping him off, but like to his face, but instead he was grabbing himself and then sticking his hand in the dude's face, and he did it like 3 times.
I'm gonna be honest, I don't even know if that's legal.
I'm gonna complete with y'all. I know people that talk shit. Whatever came out of that fan's mouth had to be the madness. For you to do that action, he had to say something crazy, because that's wild.
I would like to think that's true, but I feel like we've seen Boogie lose his mind for less when he was on the Kings.
You're not wrong, boy. You're not wrong.
Oh man, I get. So with Summer League like a couple weeks away, who are we from like last night? Was there anybody that you're like most excited to see hoop? Like, does Ace Bailey even play? Does he go to Summer League with Utah?
I hope he does come, because I'm interested in seeing him play. But I'm not gonna lie, I want to see Dylan Harper. I want to see why they picked him, because I thought that was a wild. Not that he's not a talented player. I just thought it was a wild pick for their roster. But we also got to see the big dog. Come on, you know what I mean? We got to see Cooper one time with doing this thing as well. So I think it'll be fun. But I'm mostly interested in Dylan at the moment.
Yeah. What about you, Justin?
Yeah, probably Ace, just because of the attention around him. I know Dylan's like rated higher, but I think the attention is fun for Summer League. He feels like a guy who wants to dominate Summer League. Like, there's certain guys who are coming in just trying to get their sea legs, and it feels like guys who out there like, nah, y'all gonna know who I am. And also, I want to see the Nets. I want to see the Nets just run all their rookies out and see what happens.
Yeah, they're essentially going to have a starting 5 of first-round picks out there.
Hey, they're doing the Fab Five, and you know what?
One more thing on Utah. I forgot we talked about this a little bit last night, Justin, but Utah, this is what their guard roster looks like right now. Jordan Clarkson, Colin Sexton, they had Keontae George, Isaiah Collier, and then last night drafted Ace Bailey and the dude from Florida, Walter Clayton, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, they 6 guards. It's a lot of guards. A lot of like good to get rid of Clarkson and Sexton. You gotta get them out of there.
Nah, they do.
They've been there too long.
It's ran its course. You're not winning games with them. I feel like my man Jordan Clarkson, he's just clocked out, bro. I feel like he pull up and do his little jinky majinky, and then he's like, I'm going to the mountains. I'm doing some LSD. He is not trying to play winning basketball. Get him the fuck out of there. My man Sexton, I feel like Sexton is a perfect player to trade because he's like 25, bro. 25, still athletic, still hustle hard. You could get something for him. I mean, like, I don't know what you could get out of Jordan, but I just want to change the scenery for my man Double O, but they got to flip him.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm blown away that that's Colin Sexton's age. I thought he was like 30. You're right, though. I just looked it up. He's 26. I feel like he's been in the league forever.
So long, bro. So long.
That's like Porzingis when he got traded. We should talk about that too, since we haven't done that. Porzingis is 29.
That shit's crazy, though.
Right?
That shit's crazy.
29. All right. So the last show we did was on Monday. Had any of those like the Celtics trades happened yet? Right? We still had Drew and KP. Were they still on the Celtics? Let's just because we've talked a lot about the Celtics. I don't think we have to do that too much. How about like Atlanta right now? I mean, is like Atlanta going to be good?
There's a possibility. Yeah, there's a possibility.
I mean,
We got contract year KP. They got young players. I mean, if you have what's his name, Jalen Johnson back.
Rumors they might go get DeRozan too.
Really?
Yeah.
With Daniels and Johnson, they want DeRozan? Really?
Just like as another guy, I think.
That I'm not gonna lie, I think that stinks. I think that stinks. Respectfully.
I feel like when you get DeRozan, you like, I want 45 wins. That's it.
Yeah, no, for real. I agree.
I would love to see DeRozan go to a team, but then the team immediately not go get Zach LaVine. That's what I would like to see. Fucking Kings, man. What are you doing?
Hey, man, if person doesn't succeed.
Yeah, try again. I don't know what they're doing. And then the other one, like Portland, I think is just kind of in a weird spot. It sounds like Drew Holiday's not thrilled about going there after.
Really?
Yeah. He hasn't, or at least like somebody in his camp leaked that out. I don't know how true it is, but yeah, that he wasn't like thrilled. I think that's kind of a weird fit, but I was joking last night, like they say like, oh, we want like veteran leadership, somebody to come on and be like the leader or whatever. But what if you're not ready to like mentally take on that role? You know what I mean? Like someone's like, oh, come in and be the mentor. And it's like, man, I want to fucking play ball though. Like I just want to be good. I don't want to, I'm not at that point in my career yet. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what Portland.
Are they gonna flip him though? Like, is that what he's trying to do? He's trying to get the fuck out of there for real?
I don't know. Drew doesn't seem to like be that kind of guy. Like I'd be surprised if he forced himself out. And I don't think they're planning on trading him, but Portland like New Orleans too. Do you think they're like they looked at their roster and they're like, man, I think we could be a 4 seed. Like both of those teams did moves like that they think they're like good right now.
Yeah, let me tell you what the GM Pelicans did, bro. The man smoked a little bit of weed and he said, you know what? One light-skinned brother went down. Who's a light-skinned brother that's obtainable that we can replace him with? Then they see Jordan Poole said, "All right, fuck it." That's what went down, bro. That's what went down.
Has there ever been a trade that involved like players that you've cared about less than that trade? Like people were
Ooh, that's a
saying,
good homework assignment right there.
yeah, right?
Oh man.
People were saying CJ got banned to Washington because of like the CBA, like that was the joke.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, you said so. You're saying New Orleans is the better place of those two? Like, I don't know. I also think it's hilarious that
Yo.
Washington's roster is like a bunch of 19-year-olds or 38-year-olds.
Yo. What is it? It's like CJ, Marcus Smart, Chris Middleton.
Yeah.
Yo, that shit is disgusting, bro. Respectfully.
You know, I bet do you think they're like going out to dinner, like getting some wine at a reasonable hour and being like, what did we do wrong?
Yeah, what
Marcus,
was that meme you shared with me, Steve? I don't know if you sent it to the group chat.
Nah, I said it to Justin, but they said that those three dudes look like an R&B group that's going back on tour because they got ripped off with their contract.
it's like it's like Bone Thugs and Harmony when they went on the Mulaney show like a couple weeks ago.
Yo, bro, I'm not gonna lie, man. I feel bad for CJ, bro. I feel bad for CJ. Out of those three dudes, I feel for him the worst because at least like one dude got a ring and the other dude, at least like he was the guy. Like, oh my God, green hair. But CJ, bro, you was Dame's man, and they sent you to play with a dude that don't give a fuck about basketball. Then they sent you to an organization that don't give a fuck about their players. Yo, man, let's pray for him. We gotta pray for him.
Well, and then New Orleans was like, we need to get Jordan Poole in here. You know, like the one thing that could get Zion ready is Jordan Poole. Like, what?
Yo, bro.
I just
I don't. Nobody knows what New Orleans is doing at all. It doesn't seem clear. Joe Dumars' record was not very good this last time. He's already made some spicy moves, just giving up future picks and trading away useful picks. Not only did they trade their pick, I don't think we mentioned they traded away the Pacers unprotected first, like a game before Halliburton towards Achilles for the 23rd pick that they didn't trade it, right?
that's what they ended up. Traded that up to Atlanta, I think, right?
Yeah, but yo, let me ask you guys this: what if it works though?
I mean,
what if? Listen to me. What if Zion needed another dude in the organization that only plays for baddies? What if that's the code, bro? Have you ever thought about that? What if he never needed like a tough, like, yo, this is how we win basketball? What if he needed, yo, bro, there's 3 girls in the crowd. I'm about to go for 40. What if that's the thing he needs?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the New Orleans Pelicans home opener tonight on OnlyFans night.
Yo, that would be a sick jersey sponsor. You can't lie. That jersey.
It's just a little OF on the shoulder lapel.
I'm telling you, bro. That's what they need, bro. That's what they need. It's gonna change the game, bro. It's gonna change the game.
Man, honestly, there would be like they can't do this, but there would be like there is some, I could see a Twitter account like popping that ends up being like OnlyFans leaks, and it's just like Zion dunking. Yeah,
Bro, they got stand up on OnlyFans now, just straight stand up. They can put basketball on OnlyFans.
What the fuck did you just say? They got stand up. Are they butt naked?
Nah,
No.
It's just stand up.
Yeah, OnlyFans are trying to really expand.
Yeah, basically like treat it like a Patreon, I think.
Yo, hold on. Talk about guys. I know this is about basketball. Who's doing the stand-up? Stand-up comedians or sex workers? Who's doing the stand-up?
It's stand-up comedians. There's a lot of people we know specifically that are on there.
You bullshitting me, bro. We'll text after. I don't know. I don't understand what you're saying right now. No, I don't understand what you're saying. Are you saying it's like Netflix?
They're on there doing clips, like stand-up clips, bro. Like, don't tell.
Oh, okay. I understand it now. I understand it. So I'll leave the scooter. I understand it now. Okay. I get you.
Steve could not get past the idea of just like naked people in front of a microphone. Like
That would be bonkers.
I saw that. I saw like what your brain was doing. You're like, there's gonna be another layer to this.
Like, yo, that shit sounds crazy.
Yeah, Maddie in the chat said I subscribe to OnlyFans for the articles. Oh man, I don't know. That might be all I got today. Yeah, anything else? I'm trying to think if there's any other like big things going on that we haven't hit, but I think it's been so draft focused. I don't know.
I have one thing to say before we get out of here. We need one more big trade. Adam Silver, call up the lines. We need one more big trade because the KD trade, it wasn't sexy like that. We need another one. All right, let's get the season started. You already set it up for the Mavericks. Let's do another crazy trade. Come on, man. Come
on. Could you hear on the broadcast somebody yelled rigged right before they announced Cooper Flagg's name?
I didn't see that part. No, I didn't see that part.
Yeah,
but it's true though. It's true.
I do think the Rockets could still make one more move.
I would love to see it.
I think they could. I wonder who else is out there still lurking.
I mean, we got free agency starting next week, right?
Yeah. Yeah, but it's weird. I don't know. I saw a report today from Sham saying he's assuming most people are going to opt in and then maybe try to do like a sign and trade, but that most of the guys, because of like the current structure, like most dudes will just sign with their team.
Yeah, nobody really has cap other than like Washington and kind of Detroit, and there's like
Brooklyn
free agents who are really going to leave. Like LeBron is, I guess, technically one, but LeBron just runs it up, right?
Yeah, I think so. And I guess
or did he opt in? I can't remember.
Yeah, he hasn't done it yet, but I'm assuming he'll opt in. We still don't know. Like, Miles Turner is kind of interesting now. Like, does Indiana say like, hey, we don't have Halliburton, so like, we're not going to pay you? Like that could be interesting.
A lot of teams would take.
Yeah,
definitely.
100%.
I do think we get one more trade though. I do. All right, so we'll have something next week, but then Summer League, baby, we're like right around the corner. 10th to the 14th, booked and blessed, ready to go.
Hell yeah.
I'm excited to get out there. Started making some reservations. Justin said he's getting us over to the Win this year. Yeah, that's where Justin belongs. He belongs in the Win. That's where he's with his people. Justin, are you walking around a park right now?
I mean, I'm on Bleecker and Grove Street.
Hell yeah!
I wants to find me.
I heard some birds earlier. That's why I had asked.
I'm gonna be honest. I thought I had a coworker space, but it wasn't there. So then I just go. I was like, well, I'm gonna just keep walking around.
Yeah, I just want everyone to know he knew we was doing this. He chose to do it this way. Just so y'all know, it wasn't like, yo, last minute can you do it?
Yeah, I knew. And it's the best I got today.
No, and it's all that was needed. It was all that was needed.
Man.
It was great. This was good. Shout out the 89 Cavs. Shout out Noa Dalzell too for joining the show. That was fun earlier. Harrison Faigen earlier. Good action-packed, baby. Action-packed hour and a half plus. You guys got anything going on you need to plug?
You know, it's crazy. If y'all in New York City, I'm doing cage match at UCB 10 p.m. Come through. If you vote for my team tonight, if you vote for my team, I will let you into my job for free one time. You feel me? You know what I'm saying? But come through, support Hoopty. We gonna do it. You feel me?
I gotta tell you, that's a better promo than our boy Barlow, what he did. Barlow telling us to vote in the mayoral election and then following that up with vote in cage match. I was like, there's gotta be, you can't put that in the same email.
Yo, hold on. I'm gonna fight for my boy. Barlow, you misunderstood, bro. Barlow was out here hustling. He's trying to get a W. He's supporting the good cause. Shout out my boy Zoran. Shout out my man for winning, the new mayor. Yo, Barlow, I got your back. That email was well thought out and it was well written. We gonna win.
Two separate emails. That's gonna be two separate emails. You can't be talking about changing the landscape of politics and then and then getting a cage match W at UCB. All
Hey,
right.
hey, man, you know what? As somebody currently struggling to sell any tickets to a comedy show, fuck it, man. Get ahead by any means.
Speaking of which, Justin, you got a show this weekend?
Yeah, ain't nobody coming, so fuck it. I don't really care, man.
What show, bro? Damn. What time, bro?
You can find it on the website.
we broke Justin. We broke Justin today. Oh, A+. Oh, this is.
You know, I'm just glad it's not 100 degrees anymore.
Oh, hell yeah. So is my dog, man. So is my dog. Best walk of his life this morning. He couldn't believe it. He was pissed when we were going outside. Door open. He was like, let's go. He was cooked. Yeah, we'll end it with this. Man, we need to get Justin needs his own BetterHelp promo code. There he is. Hell yeah, baby. All right, Steve, get us on out of here.
Man, you just listened to 89 Cavs, the best basketball podcast in the world. That's Justin. That's Mike. May all your endeavors go well, and may all your jump shots be wet like water. Stay up like a hard dick. You heard me?